It's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's time for the Texans Happy Hour 2025 first look at the Houston Texans.
Big Sarge. Yes, sir.
Why, yes, I do, Mr. Stroud. I do have something. As soon as I can get to it, give me 1 second. What we got over here? What's up, Alexis? Hey, what's going on, y'all? You're tuned into the Texans Happy Hour, sponsored by the Texans Tailgate Talk podcast. I'm your host, Big Sarge. Make sure you follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at Big Sarge Sports with the Z at the end. Follow me on the Tick and the Talk at Big Sarge Media. Make sure you are subscribed to the Texans Tailgate Talk, all one word, podcast and YouTube channel. As starting next week, this will be the last week that I will be doing the Texans Happy Hour and the Texans Tailgate Talk live show from the my personal page, my Big Sarge Sports with the Z page on Twitter, right? You're only going to be able to find the Texans Happy Hour and the Texans Tailgate Talk podcast with exclusive material only on the Texans Tailgate Talk channel on YouTube. So please make sure you subscribe. What's up, Grandpa? How you doing now? Hey, I wouldn't want to be anywhere in the world either, but right here. So make sure you follow me on Instagram at Big Sarge Sports with the Z at the end, because you know we do everything for the gram. And what's going on, y'all? This is I'm Big Sarge. For the people, if this is your first time here, like they said, church, welcome. I'm glad that during the Texas Happy Hour, what we always do is we grab us a cup. Hey. Side note, hold on before I even get to my cup, because Miss Jordan is in the room. Your son was clowning today. I ain't gonna even lie to you. Your son was clowning today. You know, last season, I didn't really get a chance to really watch him practice. And there was so much going on with everything. There was so much going on with everything with the new free agents and the people and the players that they had trade for, plus the rookies that, you know, with you trying to see Kamari starting, and just a lot going on. I didn't realize he was that fast. And for those of y'all who don't know what I'm talking about Houston Texans running back Jawar Jordan. I didn't realize he was that fast, and I didn't realize that he could cut that quick either. And I didn't know that he was on special teams. But you didn't come here to hear that. You came here to talk about what went on at Texas OTA. Give me 1 second. So if those of you all who are new here, the Texans Happy Hour is a little bit different than the Texans Tailgate Talk Live. Whereas Texans Happy Hour is a show about and for the fans. The Texas Tailgate Talk Live, the Texas Tailgate Talk podcast is more of a structured show. And I'm not saying it's not for the fans, but there's a little bit more structure. And even though when I do the live show, I will interact with the fans. I will interact. And when I say fans, I'm not talking about fans of me. I'm talking about Houston Texans fans. I'm not talking about Big Sarge supporters. I'm talking about Houston Texans fans. And so that Texans Tailgate Talk show is a little bit more structured when it comes to what happens over there. But the happy hour is strictly for y'all. And what I mean by for y'all is that we come in here, ain't no structure. We're gonna talk some Texan stuff, and ain't no telling what else we may get into. But this is strictly when I jump on this happy hour. This is strictly for you all. And so, what's going on, AD? And so, especially with what we have going on now with the first day of OTAs, I know that there's a lot of what's up, Patrick? There's a lot of there's a lot of questions that need to be. I need to call in function on happy hour. It's coming. I like I said, I got it right here. I moved. I got to get everything set up. But yeah, I'm gonna have a call in function here pretty soon where people can call in, especially during the happy hour, so we could all sit down and talk to talk to each other, and talk to each other like we do in the comments. But some people want to hear other people's voices and hear what they have to say, the questions that they have to ask. Sometimes people miss that. So, but once again, you tune into the Texans Happy Hour, and like you see, I have the 2025 first look, right? And what I mean by the 2025 first look is we had an opportunity. The local media had an opportunity to be at the Houston Texans, at the Houston Texans OTAs today. Now, what I decided to do today was, instead of just coming home and hopping on and recording a podcast, which I will do, and there will be a podcast, there will be a Texas Tailgate Talk podcast that will be available for you bright and early on Thursday morning. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to make sure that I came to you all first on the happy hour before I recorded the podcast, because I wanted to interact with you all and answer as many questions as I can, to give you all a feel of what went on today. I know that you follow other people. I know that you follow other media members who may have been in attendance, or some who will get their information from other places. But if you're here right here with Big Sarge, you're going to get what I got. You're gonna see what I seen today. And if you follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at Big Sarge Sports with a Z at the end, you seen me commenting and talking about some of the things that went on. I got some notes right here, but I wanted to make sure that today I want to give you all the first and the fresh content from Big Sarge before I go and record it for audio and video for the Texans Tailgate Talk podcast. Because don't get me wrong, what have I told y'all on numerous occasions? Sarge ain't gonna never run out of content. Sarge ain't. What's up, Asher Knuckles? Sarge ain't gonna talk about Toy Story. What about Toy Story? Sarge ain't gonna never run out of content. I'm not. So whatever I talk about right here on the Texans Happy Hour, it may be some, because I'll be answering some questions. So you may hear some of the things that I say in the same vicinity, but you ain't gonna really hear the same content. Because hold on, I gotta put this up. And AD, I don't do the pause thing, so I ain't gonna, I don't do I said in 2025, I'm not doing pause. I ain't doing no Diddy. I ain't doing none of that stuff. We just gonna talk. And that's why and I preface that by saying this. So who AD is talking about is none other than Woody Marks. I don't think I have it on. I haven't put this out yet. So after practice, it was Coach Danny Barrett, Jawar Jordan. I forgot who the other running back was. It wasn't Dare, because I had already talked to Dare about his sister and then finally getting their first win. The Dallas Wings got their very first win on Tuesday night, and he was like, "Man, it's about time." So Dare and I, we talk a lot of WNBA, because his sister Rike Ugumawale plays for the Dallas Wings. Very good, one of the top 10 players in the WNBA. But it was Jawar, it was Woody, and I forgot who else was talking to Coach Danny Barrett. Let me tell y'all something. it looks like somebody took a chisel and told Woody Marks, come here, come stand and stand just right here. And then they started to chisel out a person, like chisel out the perfect football specimen. Like Woody Marks is ripped. Woody Marks is cut up. And watching him today and the way that he got in and out of his breaks, the way that he was able to get in and out of his breaks, as far as the plays was concerned, the way that he was able to catch the ball out of the backfield, the way that he was also able to stop on a dime and cut back, like his cutbacks is amazing. But like this dude had his shirt off, and I said, yo, this dude is yoked. And this dude looks like he's pretty strong. And I know some people are going to probably, make jokes about what I'm saying, but it don't matter to me. I don't care nothing about that. But you could just tell that he is really built like an old school running back. Hold on. Yes, Kane. Yes, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Please tell me this. It's Kane, right? I don't want to butcher it. So please tell me if I'm saying that right. Yes, Daniil Hunter level cut. Yes. So, and thank you, AD. Thank you for bringing up Woody, because on my notes I have right here. So a lot of people want to know about Woody Marks, right? A lot of people want to know about Woody Marks. And I think that, let me make sure that I got this right. Woody Marks was drafted in the 4th round, right? 5'10", 208 pounds out of USC. But hey, AD, tell me if I'm wrong or not. He came from, like, Woody Marks came from Mississippi State, though, right? Y'all hold on for a second. Didn't he go to like Mississippi State and then to USC? Appreciate that, Kane. Let me see, y'all. I think I got it right here. So about Houston. Yes. Played at Mississippi State from 2020 to 2023. And then he played at USC last year. So let me go ahead and finish reading this. He played in 57 games, 44 starts, and recorded 608 carries for 3,016 yards, 5.0 average, 31 touchdowns. Additionally, he posted 261 receptions for 1,546 yards and 5 touchdowns. Recorded at least 1 reception in the first 56 games of his career. Let's stop right there before I even get to what I'm about to talk about with what Coach Danny Berry told me today. So during rookie minicamp, I was watching because Woody Marks was the only running back out there. He was the only running back, just him and Coach Barrett, Coach Danny Barrett. For those of y'all don't know, Danny Barrett is the running backs coach and the associate head coach. And so it was just him and Danny Barrett out there. So they got a lot of one-on-one. And you could see just watching, what Danny Barrett was teaching him. They were just working together, that one-on-one. And, you don't take too much from rookie minicamp. You just want to see the players out there. This is your first look at them, on the field. Their first, they're trying to get used to life in the NFL. And we talked about that on a previous Texans tailgate talk. And so you look, right? And with nobody else out there, you're just saying, okay, I see what he's doing. I see, but today, right? Y'all supposed to catch me on that. We're not saying that. I'm not supposed to say today. On Wednesday, I said, now I want to see. Now I need to see what Woody Marks, like how he interacts. And even though this is just voluntary OTAs, it's still some form of football. Like it's not the do all be all. This isn't what we're looking at on what we looked at on Wednesday and what we're going to see on Friday and next week and the week after that. It has nothing to do with the regular season. And so we're just getting a look at some of these players. There was a lot of mixing and matching of the players, but Woody Marks, right? So I'm watching Woody Marks, and I knew this. I knew about the 261 receptions for 1,546 yards and 5 touchdowns. I knew that, But I'm gonna be honest with you. Hey, look, y'all know how we do it right here on the happy hour. Hold on, let me get a drink. I would be lying to you if I said, yeah, man, I watched a lot of Woody Marks football games. I did not. I did not. I have not. Have I watched clips of him since he's been drafted to the Houston Texans? I have. But I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna be one of them fake dudes that's gonna say, oh yeah, man, I sit down and I did 4 to 5 hours of just strictly film study on Woody Marks, and then I watched the majority of his games when he was at Mississippi State because I'm an SEC guy. And then when he went to USC, I remembered him playing at Mississippi. I am not one of them guys. Sorry, I'm not. And I watch a lot of football. I watch a lot of college football. I can't tell you that I was really familiar with Woody Marks, just to be honest with you. Sarge taking sips of that spike water, spike with liquid IV. Okay, AD, you got jokes. So I'm watching him on Wednesday, and I'm saying, no, it's something to this dude. It's something. It's what's up, Frank? It's something to Woody that I can't put my finger on just yet, and I'm waiting to see once training camp starts. Like I want to see, like in the second week of training camp, when they're in the heat, when they're in the heat and they're stacking days is what they call them, and I want to see because Woody Marks looks like one of those running backs that's built for it, but I need to see. But what makes him stand out to me is not only can he cut on a dime, not only is he built like an old school running back, he can catch. Now, I don't know what Nick Caley's offense is going to be. Nobody does. Nobody knows what Nick Caley's offense is going to be except Nick Caley, his assistants, D'Amico, and everybody who's going to be on the offensive side of the ball. They can just get a look at what's going on. But with that being said, I don't know. So I don't know how much they can use a back like Woody Marks out of the backfield, but that puts him over a lot of the running backs as far as the depth chart is concerned. Because I don't know. I know Joe Mixon can catch out of the backfield, where Dameon Pierce is not a strong back out of the backfield if you want to use him in the passing game. And Dare can get open, but I've never seen them consistently use Dare like that. Don't get me wrong, I've seen them use Dare on third downs, and I've seen them complete some passes. But Woody Marks looks like he's head and shoulder above he's head and shoulders above some of these running backs that's currently on the roster as far as being able to catch out of the backfield. What you got for me? Not too complicated. What's going on? The Rams, Kyron Williams is more like Woody Marks. Okay. I like that guy too. I think we've talked about that previously too. When we talked about the Texans offense could be or could emulate a lot of what the Rams do, and I wouldn't be mad at that because I think that Sean McVay is the smartest man in football. That's just me. I think Sean McVay is the smartest man in the NFL. But that wouldn't be bad if you can use a quarterback like CJ Stroud in a Matt Stafford type of way. If you can get the production of Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp out of Nico Collins and Jaden Higgins, or Nico Collins and Christian Kirk, or however that's going to work. And then you can use Joe Mixon coming out of the backfield. But if you could also use another back like Woody Marks. So this is what I wanted to tell you all, though, when I said that when I put this out on Twitter that we were going to talk about something about Woody Marks. So when I get to the facility on Wednesday, go in, they got to be in the bubble because it's raining. So I go in and I go inside the bubble. And I walked in the bubble, and then I went all the way down to the end so I could get away from everywhere. Hey, appreciate that. Well, hey, look, I'm gonna talk about that. I got to talk about that soon. I got to talk about me no longer being on that other show. And I'll get to that. But when I got into the bubble, I went all the way to the end. And so down at the end was, for those of you all who are Texas fans, they have the legends. The legends have come out, and I'm talking about the legends like Andre Johnson, Travis Johnson, Jonathan Joseph, Indy Clue, and they had some former players. I think Wade Smith was in there today. I can't think of the other guy that used to play offensive line. Chester Pitts was in there, but they were down there. And so Coach Danny Barrett, the running backs coach, came and he talked to them. Then I seen him, I was like, "What's up, Coach DB?" And he walked over there, and it was me and another person that was from the local media. And I said, "They did you a solid, huh? They went out and they got you something, didn't they?" And he started laughing, right? He started laughing. He's like, "Sarge, what you talking about?" I said, "Coach, you know what I'm talking about. They went out and got you one in Woody Marks, didn't they?" He started laughing. And I said, "See, that's what happens when you got that associate head coach behind the back of your name." He just started laughing again. But he told me something. He said, that young man right there, he different. He said, he's different and he fits. And at first, I was like, I don't understand what that. Oh, now I understand what that means. He says he's different and he fits. And when he said it fits, after he walked off, I sat there and I thought about it for a minute, and then everything just started to come to me. Oh, what you're saying is he fits everything that you all are trying to do. He fits into the system, even though it's about to be a new system. He fits into the system that you want. He fits into the system that you all are trying to build. He fits. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about now, Pete. That's what I'm talking about now. What Coach Barrett said about Woody Marks. He says that he fits, and that young man gets it. Right? He said that young man gets it, and you could just tell that the way that he looked, the way that he talked about him, that whatever system that they're about to incorporate, whatever system they're about to use, whatever they're about to do, it's going to be to the benefit of the rest of the offensive side of the ball because of them drafting Woody Marks. And I'm saying to myself, I get it. And I know that he's not going to be a starter because Joe Mixon is a starter. And if we're keeping it a buck, there's going to be some competition at that running back position. There's going to be, you all heard me starting off, this show when I said, hey, I didn't know. I'm going to be honest with you. I hadn't really paid that attention. I didn't know that Jawar Jordan was that quick. And I don't know if he was that quick last season and I just didn't notice it, or whatever he's done in the offseason. As I seen him cut the way Woody Marks was cutting, I seen Jawar Jordan cutting the exact same way. And so there's going to be some competition. It's not going to be room for everybody to make the team. But just the way that Coach Danny Barrett talked about Woody Marks and, what that young man brings to the team. And I'm going to be, of course, I'm going to give you all the updates from what I see when they play against, throughout the rest of these OTAs, the mandatory mini camp, and then when they get into training camp. Because on Wednesday, they announced that the Houston Texans and Coach DeMeco Ryans confirmed it, that they will be doing a joint practice with the Detroit Lions as well before they play them in the preseason. So now they're going to do 2 joint practices, because I think the first week they play the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota. The second week they play the Carolina Panthers here. They play Minnesota away. They play the Carolina Panthers here. They're going to do a joint practice with the Carolina Panthers here. And then they're going to go to Detroit, and they're going to do a joint practice with Detroit, and then they're going to play them in their final preseason game. And so I will be going to Detroit, and I think that those 2 weeks, are going to tell a lot. Those 2 weeks are going to tell, where a couple of these rookies are. Is Ariante Ursary ready to, step in and fill a spot if he has to? Is Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel, have they, stepped up and become, day one ready to play players? One of them being and Jaden Higgins, I think he's going to be a day one starter. And is Jalen Noel outside of special teams going to be ready to step in and play some? And then, it's just and Woody Marks. We'll see what Woody Marks is going to be able to contribute. But, those back-to-back joint practices is going to tell a lot because of them playing against other players. Like, it's different because when you're just, I don't know if you all remember last season, right? I don't know if you all remember last season's training camp. But last season training camp was like, hey, what's that show called? Bad Girls Club? Bad Girls Club, where they fight all the time? Like, that's the one with Natalie Nunn, right? Where they just fight all the time. Like, in the house, they just be sitting there and all of a sudden they just start fighting. That's what that's what the Houston Texans training camp looked like last year. It looked like Houston Texas bad girls club because all they did was fight. But because they were only going up against each other. And so when you're asking men who play at that level, at that professional level, who play that high and that high intensity, and you got players that are getting themselves ready for the season, you got players who are trying to make the team, like, there's a lot. I mean, Dalton Schultz and Derek Stingley Jr. got into it. Jimmy Ward got into it with multiple people. There was a lot of back and forth and a lot of trash talking going on, but that's because they were only going up against each other every day. And then when they were able to have, when they were able to do and play against other people, you could see that as they move further into training camp, some of those things start to come down. But y'all remember at one point they just kept fighting. So as I digress, I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do, and I'm really interested in seeing what Woody Marks is going to do now. Like I told you all before, come on, don't do this. Like I told you all before, this is give me 1 second. This show is about you all. This ain't about me. This is just a happy hour. This is just another reason for me to sit here and to be able to talk to y'all and maybe sip on a little something. And let me see. Where did I put that? Y'all give me a second. I'm trying to find something. I am trying to find. That ain't what I'm looking for, Sarge. Where is it at, y'all? Here we go. Here we go. All right. Before I get to these other things, what's going on, HD? Let's go ahead and jump into some of these questions, because I said I asked you all to send me questions, and I said that I was going to answer them while we're on. All right, so you seen I said, Texans fans, run me those OTA questions so we can talk about it on the Texans Happy Hour today. And right now we're on the Texans Happy Hour. So let's go ahead and start with some of these questions that have been asked. And then, hey, drop questions in the comments too, and I'll get to those and we'll answer that. I'll answer as many as I can while I'm here. What's wrong with CJ? LJ Texan LJ 2007 say, what's wrong with CJ? Nothing. Nothing's wrong with CJ. Nothing. There's nothing wrong with CJ. This is just voluntary OTAs. If they had to play, he'd play. This is training camp, he'd be practicing. But this is just voluntary OTAs. He knows that he's going to get his reps. So why not give the other reps to, like, Slovis and Davis Mills? There's nothing yet because CJ didn't participate. And I'm going to talk about CJ in just a second. But there's nothing wrong with CJ. So for those of y'all who were worried and you were getting the updates about CJ is not throwing and CJ is not participating in the 7-on-7s, it said there's nothing wrong with CJ. Nothing. Just Davis Mills and Slovis are getting more of the reps. And that's just it. There's nothing, not nothing. From what I'm told, there is nothing wrong with CJ. This is just voluntary OTAs. And then once they get further, probably in the mandatory mini camp, he'll get some throws in because that'll be the last time he'll get an opportunity to really work with the team before training camp starts. So ain't nothing wrong. So y'all good. Grapha, how did the rookies look and do with our guys? So I didn't get a chance to watch every rookie. I didn't get a chance to watch every rookie. I'm tell you, I did. I did not get a chance to watch Keontae Hamilton. I did not. I did. You know what? I did see Luke. How do you pronounce his last name? I thought they had the thing right here. Luke Lackey. I can't pronounce his name. As I kept saying to myself, and I had my roster, but I had set my roster down. And I said, who is this number 42? It's tight end, it's number 42. He ain't dropping nothing. Like he ain't letting shit hit the ground. Nothing. And I said, okay, I'm gonna figure out who that is. So yes, I did get a chance to watch him, and he didn't look bad at all. We talked about Woody. I didn't see Graham Mertz. I watched Jalen Noel. I watched Jalen Noel. I mostly watched the offense, so I did not see Jalen Reed and I did not see Jalen Smith. And I'm not saying that they weren't out there. I just wasn't paying attention. I was really focused on. I wanted to see what Woody Marks was going to do. I wanted to see what Ariante Ursery looked like, and I wanted to look at Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel. Now, the good thing is the Houston Texans don't allow the media to come in on Thursday, but we will be back on Friday. So if you're following me, drop me drop something into the comments or drop something on my Twitter page and say, Sarge, this is, if you get an opportunity, this is who I want you to look at. And we'll come right back here on the Texas Happy Hour and we'll talk about it. But this, like I said, this show is for y'all. So when you ask me how did the rookies look, I like the way Jaden Higgins looked. I like the way Noel look. You could tell that they're still getting used to being in the NFL and how the game moves just a little bit quicker. Like they still, come off the line or whatever the case may be, but getting in and out of breaks, it's a totally different type of look when you're coming in and out of the breaks, when you're learning to come from the college to the pros, and especially when you're going up against that the Houston Texans defense. Even though everybody wasn't there, the majority of them was there. And so when you look at the players that were on the field, they're still going to give these guys a hard time. They don't give a damn if they're rookies. It don't matter. Hey, look, either you got it, or you're trying to get it, or you don't. And so it's OTAs. They weren't really doing anything, putting in small, very small installs, just very, very minimal installs, and just basically going through the motions, getting their bodies back to playing football. Even Will Anderson Jr. had to say about Ariante Ursery. He's like, that is a large human being, and that is a large human being. And so you can tell that he still has some of that college weight that he needs to shed. He's a big guy, he's a strong guy, but when you're going up against these guys in the NFL, he's gonna have to get stronger. So those are the only rookies that I had a chance to look at. Who had a better day one OTAs, the defense or the offense? Defense, hands down. Even though some of the players on the offense made some very good catches. I watched Davis Mills thread the needle in between Derek Stingley and Kalen Bullock to get a pass to John Mechie that, he would have gotten tackled. But just the fact that he was able to make that catch through that difficult situation, that was good. But the defense, and that's also because, Mixon wasn't out there. CJ didn't participate. So, if you got an all pro on one side and a future all pro on the other in Kamari Lassiter, and then you got a ball hawk in Kalen Bullock, they're going to win. And then these other guys are just stepping in. Was it hot in the Texas training bubble? Yes, it was very hot. No Harris, either we know how they feel about voluntary workouts can be a good sign. Nah, so here's the thing, right? Mind your biz. I'm gonna answer all your questions in one shot. How do you feel about volunteer? The Harris. Harris wasn't the only one that didn't work out. I got a list. We're gonna talk about that in a second. Jaden Higgins looked bigger than Nico. Am I tripping? Jaden Higgins is a big guy. I don't know if he's bigger than Nico. I wasn't really paying attention to them standing side by side. Any clue why CJ Gardner Johnson wasn't there? Some of those guys just like they weren't required to be there. So that's why. Let me hop in here right quick. Woody Mark says really nice vision, fine hitting yard to catch it like a wide receiver can finish around the goal line, but can he pass block? Hold on. That's the not too complicated. That's the question. And that's what we're going to find out in training camp. Can he pass block? Man, that take is on the money. Let me read it again. Woody Marks has really nice vision, fine hidden yardage, catch like a wide receiver, and can finish around the goal line. But can he pass block? That is, you know what? I'm gonna see if I can get this answer for you. A premature answer, but I'm gonna see if I can get that for you. Not too complicated. HD, what's going on? The rookie wide receivers, they didn't look bad. They didn't look bad at all. Hold on, Sarge, are you worried about CJ Stroud not participating full today? Nah. And do you have any prediction as to why he didn't? He just didn't. I mean, nothing was wrong with him. Nothing was wrong with him from what I can tell. Like I said, it's just voluntary OTAs, and a lot of these other guys, playing behind him, they need the reps. And so do you think Diggs getting suspended? He literally on camera supplying females to pink cocaine. How can the NFL see that and not do anything? Hey, look, I don't know what the NFL is going to do. All I know is that Godspeed and good luck to you, Mr. Diggs, and may your days in New England be the best days of your career. I don't want to wish any bad on them. I don't know what was in the bag. I don't want to speculate for what was in the bag. For all we know, I don't know what it could have been. Some people are saying it was what you're saying, what you're alluding to. I don't know. I wasn't there. I didn't take any. I have no clue. It looks like the stuff they said that Diddy was supplying at the freak offs. I ain't in it. There are some things that have been said about Stephon Diggs as far as him partying and how he likes to party. I mean, I don't cover him anymore. Maybe I can reach out to some people who are up in New England and find out what they're doing, but I don't know. Are there any undrafted free agents that could surprise people? Yes. Daniel Jackson, the wide receiver. I know that wide receiver room is packed, but I like the way that this young man runs routes. And I don't know if he's going to make the team. And if he makes the team, if he's going to be on a practice squad or not, because they are so deep at the wide receiver position. I like that guy. I like this. I like this Daniel Jackson guy for real, for real. Hold on. Let me see. Everyone want to talk about the O-line, but I want to know, is there any update on Christian Harris? No, we didn't get one today either, AD. And I listen, that's one of the things that we want to know as well. Like, I know you want to know, we want to know too. We I think give me a second. I think he was asked about that today. Y'all give him this stuff right here is happening in real time. This is real time. This is for hold on. Let me see something. I'm reading the transcript right now. This is what Coach had to say about and I'm gonna put this out here pretty soon. He said on quarterback CJ Stroud, mostly observing practice. He says for all the guys you see here, there will be guys on different schedule, different routines. So you'll see some guys out and some guys won't be out. Some guys will be on different snap count, different pitch count. So there's nothing going on right now with any of our guys. Everyone is just on their own schedule. Bow, 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 da, 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 bow. No, I don't. Okay, I thought that he was asked. No, he wasn't asked. He wasn't asked. But there, like I said, there's a lot of guys. And real quickly, AD. So so some players who wasn't. What did I do with that? Hey, y'all give me a second. I gotta see something real quick. Give me a second. All right, so look. So AD, I gotta look at something, AD. I got a video, right? I got a video. Y'all bear with me for 1 second, please. Please, please, please just bear with me. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Okay, so hold on. I need y'all to stop what y'all doing right now and go tell 5 friends to tell 5 friends to tell 5 friends that you gotta follow Big Sarge. You gotta go to the Texas Tailgate Talk because ain't nobody else gonna give y'all these type of things, right? AD, you asked about Christian Harris. All right. So before I get there, though, so the no shows that was on the field, Joe Mixon wasn't there. Christian Harris wasn't there. Justin Watson, Dalton Schultz, Brevin Jordan, Damian Pierce, Daniil Hunter, CJ Garner Johnson. Okay. So they weren't on the field, but after practice was over, right? After practice was over, a lot of the players came out. So, like I seen Dalton Schultz. I think I may have seen, did I see Brevin Jordan? I know I seen Dalton Schultz, and I seen some other players that didn't participate in the OTAs that were in the back. They all came out to get some extra work. All right, so hold on 1 second. AD, you there? AD, let me know if you there or not. Let me tell you why you. This is why I'm your boy. This is why I'm your boy. Let me see if I can do this, y'all. Y'all give me 1 second. I gotta do some different types of things real quick. Because I don't want it. This ain't just for AD. This gonna be for everybody. This should be it. Yep. Okay. Let me see. Y'all give me a second. This is why I love y'all. This is the dig offs. Luke Lachey. Okay, thank you. Tay Ursay. Lachey. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Hey, AD, hold on 1 second. I missed y'all too, man. I missed y'all. All right, let me see if I could do this. Because, and ain't nobody else, didn't nobody else tell y'all this? Did nobody else share this? Nobody ain't giving y'all this but me. Give me a second. Waiting on this to upload. Bam, lamb, bam. Okay. Well, that's cool. Hold on. It didn't really do what I needed it to do, but that's all right. Hold on, we still there. He looked like he's fully recovered. All right. So let me do this. AD, you say you still there? I got you. Got you, my boy. Okay, they're gonna let me do it that way. Give me a second. you go down. Desktop. All right, where we at? Where we at, Sarge? Where we at? Here we go. Okay. Let me see if I can do it now, AD. It's just for y'all. It's just for y'all. Nope, it won't let me do it that way. So hold on. Give me a second. Okay. I guess I'm gonna have to do it this way. Did you see that? Hold on for a second. Hello, wife. AD, can you see the screen? Can y'all see the screen? This is after practice. This is after practice. This is Aziz Al-Shair. This is Henry Toa. And can you see who Henry is playing? Can you see who Henry is playing catch with? One more time. Okay, how can I let me take this off? Remove from studio. Oh, I gotta stop sharing my screen. There we go. So, you see that? So he was there. He was there. Hold on 1 second. Okay, about that. He was there, just like a lot of other people. Like I said, there was other people who were in the back who were doing treatment and doing other things that did not participate in the voluntary OTAs. And even D'Amico said that as well. Let me read you all what he said. Where we at, Sarge? Where we at? Transcripts, where we at? Because D'Amico was asked about this, and on how he manages the guys who aren't here. This is voluntary. It's not about managing guys who aren't here. It's voluntary. That's what he kept saying. It's voluntary. It was voluntary. Everybody didn't have to be there. So the guys who wasn't there probably was just there, still in the building, but just getting treatment. And so as you can see, Christian Harris, and make sure y'all go back and y'all tell them. So when they try to say, hey, Christian Harris was there, blah, 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 blah. Such a no, just the one who told you, right? Because I told you, I'm gonna start charging gratuity for my takes, and using my content. My content and my takes, I'm gonna do just like they be doing at the restaurant. It's gonna ask you a little question at the end. Y'all know how they do that, right? They be like, they're gonna ask you a little question at the end. That's how I'm gonna start doing my content and my takes. This is why we roll with Sarge. Just freaking like sure. A Colombo with the press fast blood. This season comes down to the Texans close the gap on KC and the Ravens. Donate to the motor pool. Exactly. Hey, there's gonna be a question that's gonna come up at the end. Can you, if you don't mind answering that? All right, y'all. Let me go ahead and hop back into this thing really quick. Thank you for keeping this competition. Let's go ahead. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Appreciate that. All right. So, as you all can see in my video that I made after we left OTAs on Wednesday, after we left, when I said that I was impressed, by CJ Stroud. And we've talked about ad nauseum. If you've seen it everywhere on social media, anybody that you follow that covers the Texans, they told you, hey, CJ didn't participate today. CJ didn't participate in the full practice. I mean, I'm sorry, CJ didn't throw. CJ did participate, he just didn't throw. So he did the handoffs and things like that. And so, but I told you that I was impressed by what CJ Stroud did away from the field of play, away from the field of competition. A lot of times when he was in there for certain plays, certain packages, and Ariante Ursary was there, after he finished, CJ would go over for the majority and talk to him. Hey man, blah blah. I don't know what was said. Don't get me wrong. I'm not here to tell you what was said because I didn't hear what was said. So I can only report on what I seen. I could see him constantly talking to Ursary. I said Ursary. I could constantly see CJ talking to Ursary a lot during the times that they were both on the field together. And then when CJ wasn't a part of when they were doing the passing, when they was doing the 7-on-7 or 11-on-11, when CJ wasn't, afterwards, you could see him talking to Jalen Noels and Jaden Higgins, and you could see him getting with Noel and just talking about different types of things. It looks like he was asking him, hey, what did you see? You know, what did you see on this play? It looks like that's what they're saying. I don't know what was said, but I could just see CJ taking his time to talk to some of these other guys, some of these rookies that are coming in. That's going to be a vital part to the Houston Texans offense. That's going to be able that's going to be a vital part to the Houston Texans offense and a vital part to CJ Stroud's success. I mean, there could be a time where Ursary could be blocking and protecting CJ's blind side at the left tackle spot. There's going to be times where Jaden Higgins is going to be in the games with CJ Stroud. There's going to be times when Jalen Noel is going to be in the game with CJ Stroud. And so it's good to get, for the first time, for them all to be on the field together and them talking together. And then they just, okay, this is what we're doing, right? This is what we're doing. We're, hey, look, when we go to this is what I need you to do. When we go to that, like I said, I don't know what CJ was saying. It just looked like CJ was teaching. And so that's what you're starting to see now. And that's what you want to see in a third year player, especially a third year quarterback. And for CJ, this is going to be a new system that he's learning. So they're all learning this system. They're all learning this system together. But just for the fact that he knows how to, that he has taken it upon himself to make sure that he is connecting not only with the offensive players that has been here, but the ones that have not, and him saying, okay, this is what we need to do, and they're all getting on the same page. Now, I don't know if on Friday, if CJ is going to throw or not. Like Coach D'Amico Ryan said, they're all on different schedules. So today may have been the day that they're not going to let CJ throw, and he may throw on Friday, or he may throw on Thursday when no one's around, when we're not there, and then come back on Friday, he's not throwing. He may only be throwing when the media's not around. I don't know. All I know is that he was out there, and for the most part, the majority of the team who wasn't hurt was out there. But I like the fact that CJ has taken it upon himself to do that. I like the fact that when I asked Will about being a year 3 veteran, he said, I'm starting to feel like I'm UNC status, right? And he's only going into his 3rd year. But this team, Aziz Al-Shaair said something today, and it encapsulated the entire OTAs. He said, you could just feel it, with these 3rd and 4th year guys. You could just feel, the difference. And, I think Aaron Wilson from KPRC asked him about last year to this year. You know what? Y'all know I hate to do half-ass stuff. So I'm just going to go ahead and give you the quote from Aziz. That was Will. Uh, it's about his leadership role. Nope, that's not it. I was trying to see where he said that about year 3 and year 4. Uh, Here we go. When he was asked on his experience with the attendance rate of OTAs during his time in the league, he said, "I think when you have a team, especially like this, with a lot of young talent, and a lot of the guys who have contributed for us over the years, especially last year, there have been a lot of young guys, and guys are kind of like in year 3, year 4. I remember me in San Francisco in OTAs. That was really my 3rd year in the league. Was like when I felt like OTAs was more crisp, and so that's what he was saying. He was just saying that it feels a lot different. And when he said that, like I said, that encapsulated the entire mood of Wednesday, right? The first day of voluntary OTAs. Like there was a different type of energy. And I was like, I've been around for a lot of these Houston Texans OTAs, and it just the last time you could feel this type of energy was when they drafted Will and CJ. So what year was that, y'all? 2022? So in 2022, that rookie mini camp and that rookie OTA, and just because of the excitement, of having a new quarterback and having one of the best, college defensive players one of the best defensive players in college football coming in at the same time, and the way that they acquired him 2023. Okay, the way that they acquired them, and how they drafted them, and so that was a lot of excitement coming in. Then last season, it wasn't so much as excitement as it was the expectations were so high because they did bring in Daniil, they did bring in Aziz, they did bring in Joe Mixon, they did bring in Stephon Diggs, and then they got Autry, and then you have you went out and you still outside of having Nico Will Tank, you go out and you draft Kalen Bullock and you draft a Kamari Lassiter. So I don't think that like the first year was excitement, the second year was expectation. You know what? Y'all think I'm crazy? I'm gonna write this down. I'm gonna use this again. Year 1, excitement. Year 2, expectations. And now they're back to excitement again. Let me tell y'all something. Anytime you can see a all-pro defensive back like Derek Stingley in the building, acting like he's fighting for a contract, even though he just got a contract, a big contract. Like when you look at what Derek Stingley, if you look at Derek Stingley on Wednesday during OTAs, the way that he was getting ready, and it looked as if he was just drafted and he's trying to make the team. And that's the type of hunger that you need from him. Like Derek Stingley was rated one of the best last year. He made all pro. And here he is back on the field as if he didn't just get one of the biggest contracts in NFL history for a defensive back. Like he didn't get all of those accolades. Like he wasn't a shutdown corner last year. He's out there playing like I'm trying to make the team. Kamari Lassiter out there like he's trying to make the team. Like the way that those two practice on Wednesday, and then that just rolled over to Kalen and the rest of the defense. Kamari broke up a pass and he was hitting his helmet like it was a regular season game. And I'm saying, hey, did anybody tell Kamari that this is just voluntary OTAs? I don't think that he knows that. You know, he reminds me of. So Kevin Garnett was my favorite player, and I think I may have told you all this story once before. But Kevin Garnett was my favorite player when he played in the NBA, and the reason why he was my favorite player is because he didn't know how to turn it off once he stepped onto the court. After Hurricane Katrina hit in New Orleans, and they had a benefit game, benefit like celebrity type basketball game here at the Toyota Center, and you had you had current NBA players playing, and then you had some celebrities playing. I think that Kenny Smith may have put it on, but Kevin Garnett, well, that's when I realized how fast Gilbert Arenas was too. Good Lord. But Kevin Garnett was playing in that game like they were going to give him an MVP award. They was like Kevin Garnett. I was like, Kevin, I don't think they have an award. I don't think there's a trophy. I don't think that you receive a trophy, an MVP trophy from this game. This is just a benefit game. This is just to raise money and have people come out and watch you all play. Kevin Garnett was out there like, I only know one speed. When I hit the court, that's how I am. I remember they said when he got traded from Boston to the Nets, when he got traded to the Brooklyn Nets, it said Kevin Garnett was hurt and they would not let him practice. So what Kevin Garnett did was, while they were on the court running up and down, Kevin Garnett was on the side emulating like he was in the game. So when the first team was on offense, he was going through the plays on the side like he was on offense, calling out plays, talking out loud like he's talking to the players like you're on the sideline. Then when they went down on the defensive side of the ball, he's out there calling out plays and, telling people where to go. And the times like they said, like they couldn't cut him off and they couldn't kick him out of the gym. So that lets you know that once he steps on the court, he doesn't know how to turn it off. That's the same thing that I see in Kamari Lassiter. It doesn't matter if it's flag football, if it's flag football, if it's catch, if it's any type of competition, he's stepping on the field to win. And so on Wednesday, you're watching Kamari. Kamari broke up a pass, started hitting his helmet, and I'm saying to myself, hey, this ain't week 4 yet. This ain't week 4, Kamari. This is the first day of voluntary OTAs. So I'm saying that to say that's the type of excitement that was in that bubble today. I'm not here to fluff the Texans. I'm not here to put the Texans on a pedestal. I'm not here to say, oh man, they're ready to compete for an AFC title. They're here to they're ready to play in the AFC championship game. No, I'm just telling you what I seen from a voluntary practice. Like, I don't think people understand when you say the word voluntary. That means that you don't have to be there. Now, in the Army, you're voluntold. Hey, man, we got this thing going on. You don't have to be there, but it will behoove you. So, hey, listen. Hey, and I'm using the command hand. A lot of you all that's been in the military, you know what that word means. It would behoove you to be here, right? And so this is just voluntary OTA, and they're still having issues getting Derek Stingley Jr. and Kamari Lassiter and Aziz, and they're still having issues getting them off the field because in their mind, they want to play. And so that's what I mean by the excitement. That's what I mean by the excitement is back, right? The excitement is back, and the expectations will go along with the excitement, but you could just see the excitement that wasn't there during last season. It was a lot of expectations. I think I was asked about any impressions of Nick Caley coaching on the field. Not really. It's just they're just going through the walkthroughs, right? Basically, the majority of mid-pace walkthroughs, like they're practicing, but they're not practicing. They're just really walking through. Who is the Texans' second leading receiver? If I had to say right now, it'd definitely be Christian Kirk. I haven't seen anything from anybody else that could supersede Christian Kirk. I'm really worried. I want to see John Mechie. Looks like he's lost weight and he's a little bit quicker. Xavier Hutchinson looks like he has something to prove. And so I want to see, what those guys are going to do. But if I had to say something of that right now, I would say it's still Christian Kirk. And Nico. I think I'm gonna put out the clip here a little bit later on about where I asked Nico about being that, that number one wide receiver, because coming into the first year with CJ, we knew that Nico, was the number one receiver, but he hadn't solidified that spot. Right? He came in with, because he was coming off of injury. He was coming off the injury a season prior, and so now they get CJ, and he's starting to, by the end of that season, he has solidified himself as the Texans' number one wide receiver. But then they went out and they got Stephon Diggs. And so when you get Stephon Diggs, Nico didn't have to yield yield to Stephon Diggs and just automatically give him the number one wide receiver title. I mean, because you could tell before Nico got hurt, you could see how he was balling. He was truly the number one wide receiver. But when you still have a player of Stephon Diggs' caliber at that time, and all the accomplishments that he had and what he was still able to do while he was on the field, like you could call, Nico a number one. But then, some people could be, well, Stephon Diggs could be the number one too. He's done this, he's done that. Look at these accomplishments that he had. So you look at it like that. This season, Nico is the number one. Hands down. Hands down. There's only, like, you got to go out and you got to get like Jamar Chase or like Justin Jefferson to supersede Nico. I don't even think you can get Pika Nakua to come in and he'd be the number one wide receiver over Nico Collins. Now, I don't know if Nico would be the number one over him. I would love to see that competition. That would be a battle. And the first thing I do is, if you want this number one spot, you got to go up against Derek Stingley Jr. You're gonna have to go up against him, and let's see and start from there. But Nico is truly the number one wide receiver. And later on, I'll put out the clip of me asking him about being that number one wide receiver coming into this season and establishing, that number one wide receiver mindset, mentality, and to be able to teach these other guys that are in the room that are looking at him. Now, behoove it would behoove you. Thank you. Imagine Anthony Edwards with a fraction of kg spirit. He looked like he suffered a concussion or something in game 4. He did not look good. They put him on clamps. Texans have 2 6'4", 4'4" wide receivers with great hands. Who else has that? Yeah, they do. Not too complicated. Said Panthers have 2 tall receivers, I believe. At Brandon, the question isn't about their size, it's about their durability. 4'4". All right. I got one more thing that we're going to talk about. And now let me preface my statement by saying this. I'm also going to talk about this on the podcast. So you remember I told you that the content that we talk about here for the most part is just for the Texans happy hour. It's for you all, but there may be some of the things that may be in the same vicinity when it comes to the podcast. So when you listen to the podcast on Thursday morning, make sure you subscribe. Texans Tailgate Talk, all one word, available wherever you get your podcast from. But when you listen to that, you're going to hear some of what I'm going to be talking about, but you're not going to hear the exact same thing. There's not going to be the exact same thing, but I have to talk about this, and I'm going to bring it up on the podcast. So maybe Diggs was giving those ladies some pixie stick dust. Maybe so. So I don't like Titus Howard at right guard. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I do not like Titus at right guard. Period. Point blank, no. You're going to put him at guard, put him on CJ's blind side. Let him protect CJ's blind side. Put him over there, and if he's going to play next to Cam Robinson, If you're going to put Cam Robinson as your starting left tackle, because we know he can't play anywhere else, but if he's going to be your starting left tackle, then you keep him. You put Titus right next to him. Brandon, I don't. Brandon says he likes Titus at right guard. I don't like. I don't want to say it doesn't feel right. I don't know if Titus is effective at the right guard position, right? How come Texans don't want Howard at tackle? That's a good question, not too complicated. I don't know. You remember when I talked about it, if you go look on the Texans Tailgate Talk channel, on the YouTube channel, you'll see that I said that it's time for Titus to step up and become the captain in that room. But the only way he's going to be able to do that is if they stick him in one spot and leave him there. And even on today during OTAs, he didn't stay at one spot, but we'll talk about that on the podcast. I don't like. I just don't like it. And I understand what you're saying, Brandon. He's already comfortable with the right side and can turn and tell Blake Fisher what he needs to know. I'm gonna leave that there for 1 second. I understand what you're saying, but when he's on the right side, he's used to playing on the outside. He's used to playing right tackle. Now you're bringing him inside, and that's a whole different animal when you're bringing him on the inside on that right side. I like him better on that left side, and he's already had some playing time in playing that left guard position. So if you're not going to play him at right tackle, and if you're not going to play him at left tackle, then I think you should put him at left guard, and then I think you should just go ahead and let Juice Scruggs hop in there. Let Juice Scruggs hop in at that right guard position, or have some competition at that right guard position. But if you're going to put Titus at guard, I think that he should play left guard. Also, a place where he already has, he's already played, and there's already some film where he can go back and watch on how to get better. Because you stick him at this right guard position, and if you start him out in the season at the right guard position, now you're waiting on him to get acclimated at playing right guard. Right tackle is a given. He knows how to play that with his eyes closed. It's just like riding a bike for him there. Left guard, he just got the training wheels taken off the bike, and now he can ride the bike there without any problems. Left tackle, he knows how to ride the bike at left tackle because he's played there. Now you're putting him at a whole new position. So what's next? Center? You're going to put Titus at center next? And I get it. Voluntary OTAs, it's a bunch of mixing and the matching of the line. I got that part. But Titus Howard doesn't need to be moved around. Just put him in a spot. Just put him in a spot and let him be at that spot. Let him develop at that spot. And I understand we can see him at right guard on Wednesday. When I come back Friday, he could be a left guard. Or he could be a left tackle. He could be a right tackle. It just depends. This is voluntary OTAs, and it's going to be mandatory mini camp, and then we're off for a couple of weeks, and then we're coming right back, and we're going to start training camp, and that's when we're really going to start to see, because once training camp starts, a lot of these guys are going to get their position. So I don't know if this is an audition for Titus at the right guard position. I honestly and truly do not like it. And maybe some of you guys, AD, if you haven't left just yet, AD is a guy that I really trust as far as the offensive line is concerned. Like, am I missing something? Like, y'all tell me, am I missing something? Because he didn't even look comfortable. He didn't look comfortable Wednesday playing right guard. Like, he didn't look comfortable. And they wasn't really, like, they were just, pretty much going through the motions. Let me see. Titus doesn't seem to have the reach with his feet to get out there for run blocks at tackle. But he did it before, though, Brandon. Like, I don't like we can't sit up here and say that Titus wasn't a very good right tackle. Now, just like in every game, a lot of people, you're going to have your miscues, you're going to get beat, you're going to have your plays where you look bad. But Titus at right tackle. That's his spot. He's a damn good right tackle. So I don't understand that one. Not too complicated. You see, I think the Texans think Howard is soft. I think Howard is coming from a quarterback to O-line is a mindset adjustment that has made. Quarterbacks are not known to be nasty. That could be a good take. People say Howard has changed his physique since last season too. I didn't get a chance to really take a look at him like that. I got some video though. I'll put it out. I got video. I'll put it out here of specifically of him. All I know is I'm jumping out my window if CJ gets sacked on the first offensive play this season, especially after all this business we've been focusing on the O-line. Exactly. My window is on the ground floor. I'm mad, not crazy, just football. Watching Fisher get to the second level versus run blocks versus Titus is night and day. That is true. If we're talking about run blocking, okay, I will give you that. Fisher is a better run blocker. He's not a better pass blocker. He's not better at pass protection than Titus. I will give you the run blocks, right? Just like last season. Kenyon Green was a hell of a run blocker. He was not a good pass blocker. Laremy Tunsil, great at pass protection. Terrible at run blocking. So if you're telling me, hold on, only talking run blocking, they've been needing to get the run game fixed for a while. That's true. That's true. But what's going to happen when it's time to pass the ball? Because you don't have, we just talked about your number one wide receiver, Nico, and you didn't go out and draft 2 wide receivers and trade for another wide receiver just to have them blocking the whole time. And so, and Brandon, and this is the conundrum, right? This is the conundrum that the Houston Texans are at because they don't have 2 things that match. That's why I was not overly excited about what they did in the offseason with trying to fix this offensive line because they still have 2 things that do not match. Everybody on that line is good at one thing and not good at another. And that's where they're going to have to fix that. They went out and they got Cam Robinson. They paid Cam Robinson this money. Cam Robinson is a left tackle only. And sometimes he's good, sometimes he's bad. We just talked about it. Every player has that. Sometimes you're good, sometimes you're bad. Sometimes you're good, sometimes you're bad. I'm just like, you still just don't know. It's too many unknown variables. And maybe this is where Cole Popovich comes in, right? This is where Cole Popovich comes in to fix it. What'd you say? Not too complicated. Run blocking is like rebounding. You have to want it. Yep. Hey, look, like I said, Kenyon Green was a role grader. Kenyon Green could get to the second level on run blocking. Pass blocking, he was never good at. Hold on. Ram scheme uses big 3, 30+ guards and don't need a lot of mobility. Might be the role they're looking for Titus to play. So, and here's the thing though, Brendan. Do we know that that's the scheme that Nick Caley's going to run? Because Nick Caley also was in New England when Tom Brady was there. So that's another unknown variable. We don't know what Nick Caley's going to do. And I don't think we'll have a clear-cut understanding of what he wants to do until we get closer to the preseason. Everything that we're looking at on what he's going to do when it comes to this offense. Can't just tell Titus to stay heavy, work on upper body strength, take over as a guard. Yeah, okay, until your right tackle goes out, till something happens to Blake Fisher, and now you're moving him back to right tackle. The Rams use the running back in the passing game a lot to slow down the pass rush. Rams also use tight ends more than most teams. They got a lot of Texans got a lot of tight ends too. Yeah, that's right, Brandon. We're and that's what we're all just doing. So, man, let me tell y'all something. I have really enjoyed this time, spending this time with y'all, man. It has been amazing, and I'm glad that I was able to. I'm glad. Hold on, what Senior Bobole said. Looks like they believe the O-line issues were scheme culture related by the moves they have made. Yeah, but they didn't get. I don't think they got better as far as talent is concerned. Hey, y'all want to do this again? I'm down for doing another happy hour on Thursday, and definitely doing one after the second day of OTAs that the media is allowed to go to on Friday. I may start it even a little bit earlier. 3:30 sound good to y'all? I don't mind start drinking at 3:30. I ain't got to drive nowhere. I don't have nowhere to be. Right here with my wife. Thank you for joining the Texans Happy Hour. Make sure you follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at Big Sarge Sports with the Z at the end. Follow me on the Tick and the Talk at Big Sarge Media. Make sure you are subscribed to the Texans Tailgate Talk podcast and YouTube page, Texans Tailgate Talk, all one word. Make sure did I say the Tick and the Talk at Big Sarge Media? If I didn't, I just said it then. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at Big Sarge Sports with the Z at the end. Oh, hold on for a second. Tay, where you at, Tay? Hold on. Whiskey Wednesday. Yep. Hold on. Hey, y'all send these to me on Twitter. Send these to me on Twitter. We can make it Whiskey Wednesday, Tequila Thursdays. What up, Lou? Yep. You're late. It's time. I'm about to get up out of here. Oh man. Dang. Hey, make sure you hit me up on Twitter, Big Star Sports with the Z at the end, and so I can follow you, Lou, and then give you updates on when we're gonna start. I appreciate that though. Thank you. Damn, what was I saying? I was about to tell you something, Tay. Shucks. What was I saying? I forgot. That's okay. Meet me here on Thursday. Maybe I remember by then. I'm getting old. I'm getting real old. Get fired Fridays. Big Sarge. I'm out.
Big Sarge.